Good on you, mate. Good on you. Okay, so now we've got Mark, please.
Do you want me to stay?
And you've got 10 minutes, Mark.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, councillors. I'm Mark Christensen. I'm the chair of the Project Oversight Group for Pest-Free Banks Peninsula. Now, you've just heard from David with his previous hat on as the chair of the Project Management Group. Now, the Project Management Group is responsible for overseeing the operational delivery of the program. The Project Oversight Group, which I chair, is in the nature of a governance group looking at the program. Just to remind you, the members of the Project Oversight Group, we have a councillor from Environment Canterbury, your two councillors, Councillors Fields and Donovan on the committee. We have a councillor from the Selwyn District Council, the Regional Director of the Department of Conservation, representatives from both the Five Runanga on the peninsula and also from Tront. We have two roles in our oversight of pest-free. The first relates to Pest-Free Banks Peninsula, and I'm not going to repeat anything that David Miller has said around that, and I don't need to remind you, I'm sure, of the interrelationship between biodiversity and climate change. We have a dual crisis, not just climate change, but a biodiversity crisis. One of the ways in which we can achieve resilience around climate change is to be really smart around our regenerative economy and to ensure that our biodiversity is thriving. And that's the pest-free element is a critical element in that overall picture. So that's the first issue. In the submission we set out and really just saying in support of what you've heard from the Project Management Group. The second role of the Project Oversight Group is to facilitate the discussion around what we're calling towards pest-free Waitaha. And this is an extension of the Banks Peninsula work beyond the peninsula from perhaps years 2028, 2030 onwards, linking the peninsula to the Alps. It will be one of New Zealand's largest landscape scale pest control and eradication programs, principally between the Rakaia and the Ashley-Rakahura rivers. What I've set out in the submission is some asks around that as we plan this next step of what's going to happen after 2028 when the national central government funding ceases for Banks Peninsula pest-free. Critical to the success of anything beyond the peninsula are two things in my submission. The first is the success of Pest-Free Banks Peninsula itself. There is no sense in us diverting attention, diverting resources to doing things on the plains across the city if we're not able to link with a successful Banks Peninsula, because that is where the biodiversity it really is in a lot of ways. That's the first thing. And the success of Pest-Free Banks Peninsula, I would suggest to you, is also contingent on the success of the Banks Peninsula Conservation Trust. And you heard from Penny about the necessity of the Trust to continue its funding, not just on pest-free, but on a range of other conservation activities. The Trust is the trust that it was the body that has, over the last 24 or so years, provided the glue, has provided the framework for being able to bring all of the parties and all the people that are working on conservation issues across the peninsula together into one. So it's critical, I suggest, that that organisation is well funded to do the things, and as you say, Mr. Mayor, every dollar's critical, and they do such a good job with stretching those dollars. So I've set out, as I say, I've set out in my submission some things which will be necessary to plan for this extended project. We're aware that of course, Environment Canterbury is proposing in its long-term plan an extended targeted rate across the urban part of the city for biodiversity, some of which would be available for this, but that in itself isn't going to be sufficient to do the sorts of things. We're talking multi-tens of millions of dollars. And I'm not suggesting that this is something that this council will be funding. But if you want to play your part like other cities, Wellington, Dunedin, New Plymouth, there are a number of others, then please be part of it. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Right, okay. So you finished both of them, have you?
So that's my submission on behalf of the Project
Yes.
Oversight Group.
So now you've got...
Now I'll move to my personal submission. I won't hold you up because
No, you're fine.
I simply want to make one point.
Yes.
And that's in relation, this is me as a private citizen. I've submitted in support of the Art Centre's submission around their funding. I'm an avid follower of a lot of the art scene that happens through the Art Centre as well as other places, and it's an important part of the cultural life. I know I harp on mostly about biodiversity, but the city's also, it's critical that from a community resilience point of view, we have strong art community, and that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Sam?
Thanks, Mark. And it's probably just on that last one, and feel free not to answer it. I'm just trying to get your understanding of the situation at the Art Centre, given the public campaign. So I'd be really interested in your understanding of what's happening at the Art Centre in terms of what we are or aren't doing. Can you just elaborate on that based off what you've seen? I just think it'd be really useful for council. Yeah. No,
It sounds like a test.
Sounds like one.
No,
Yeah.
I'm like I say, I'm not
So
trying to put you on
look,
the spot.
no,
I'm just trying to understand your perception of the campaign and the issue they're facing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, no, I'm not going to answer it directly because I wasn't here when Philip did his presentation, so I didn't hear what he had to say about that.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, I've known that Philip Aldred for a number of years around these things, so I'd support what he's saying. Yes, I'm not sure about sort of what sort of misinformation's out there or.
Oh no. I
guess
what I was trying to get to was what's your understanding based off the public campaign?
Yeah, look,
but that's
I
okay.
haven't been part of it really.
No,
just-
good
I
as
have to
well.
say.
Fair enough
Thank
too.
you. Yeah.
Pauline?
Mine's on your previous submission, if that's all right. So can you clarify the continuation of the salary of the community activator from March 2025 and then continuation of the predator-free trust money, which ends in July 2025? Can you quantify how much both of those are, please, for me?
Not exactly, but I'll
Can you
provide that
send it
information, yes.
through?
Yeah, sorry, I might go wrong if I...
Does Mark know where to send that response through to?
We can contact him.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. So next we have Karen, please.